Speaking of someone else doing that, Sean Spicer, look, Donald Trump seems actually much more focused and powerful and supported than he was the first time he was president. And back then, Sean Spicer was his White House press secretary. You'll see him every week on this show. I spoke to him earlier when he ducked out from the celebrations in Washington to talk to us from the big freeze outside that had forced the inauguration ceremonies to this time be held indoors. Sean Spicer, great to see you standing out in the absolute freezing cold of Washington, just for us. Appreciate that. You were there when Donald Trump was first sworn in as president 8 years ago. He was then totally new to politics. Comparing his first day then to his first day as president a second time today, what struck you?
How much more prepared he was, Andrew. These guys hit the ground running, 200 executive orders on everything from the border to ending diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's so many things that they're doing right off the bat that we just frankly weren't prepared to do 8 years ago.
And I see, for viewers wondering, there's a lot of emergency vehicle lights going there. The security is huge, of course, after he's survived 2 assassination attempts just to get there. How do you think Donald Trump has changed?
Well, I think, to your point about security, after you have 2 assassination attempts on your life, that's got to have an impact, thinking about your legacy, what you value in life, and understanding the fact that there's only so much time to get things done. I think the speech today reflected that.
Now, you mentioned about the 200 executive orders. It was just demanding action on so many fronts. It's quite astonishing. Which ones do you think struck you the most, which will have the most impact?
I think right off the bat, the ones on the border, closing the border, remain in Mexico, those are things that are going to have an immediate impact that the American people can see him keeping his word on. This is something he campaigned on, and so it's a much deeper thing. The idea that he's keeping his word, that he's not waiting 4 or 5 weeks or waiting for legislation coming through Congress. You see that behind me. He's actually getting it done right off the bat.
And Joe Biden, on the other hand, I mean, the contrast between the energy Trump has shown and the, weekend at Bernie's act of the last 4 years with the president. Joe Biden, though, just 20 minutes before ending his time as president, pardoned 2 of his brothers, his sister, and 2 of their partners for anything they may have done that was not actually violent over the past 11 years. He doesn't know what it could be, but or thinks he doesn't know. He's already has pardoned his son Hunter in the same way, plus pardoned him for tax fraud and gun offences. This absolutely stinks. What's going on?
Well, I think you just put it best. And it's Democrats that are reacting to this, not just Republicans. You have a series of Democrat operatives, former elected officials, talking about how he's undermined. And frankly, Andrew, it's his own words. He was asked about this on CNN, and he said this would undermine democracy in the way that the world looks at us. I think he's absolutely right. I don't think that history is going to reflect well on Joe Biden.
I don't think it will indeed. It must have been painful for him to be sitting next to Donald Trump when he's giving his big speech saying, we're going to have energy and optimism and hope now and common sense. What did you make of that? Public humiliation.
It was so awkward watching the president just talk about the state of the country, how he's going to fix it, knowing that Joe Biden was just feet behind him.
I thought it was quite amazing. Boy, no wonder you're the country of these celebrity roasts. You couldn't get a bigger celebrity roast than that one. Sean Spicer, I'll let you get out of the freezing cold.